The question is, how do we be happy? Well, when I tell people, well, personal progression is the key to happiness, well, they're not so sure. But if I say, when you're stagnant, you're not happy. Oh, yeah. Or backsliding in life, that's even worse, right? That is unhappy. So the flip side is true.
You're about to deal with forces you can't possibly comprehend.
Welcome to GMP, the Great, Glorious, and Glamorous, aka the Going North Podcast. I'm your host, best-selling author, and certified self-leadership trainer with the John Maxwell team, Dom Brightman. And this is the podcast where authors from around the world help you realize that success is tangible. Now let's get on with the show. And today on a super special, awesome podcast for humans known as the Going North Podcast, where it features some awesome, fabulous people that put pen to paper and publish their work and join the business of immortality. This is your host, Don Brayman here, and we got one heck of a guest for you today. Because my goodness, this woman right here, she's like a goal crusher. That's what I'm gonna call her, goal crusher. Because if you read her book, Life Master, you'll freaking figure out why. Because my goodness, like fitness expert, entrepreneur, mother, wife, grandmother to 21 children, living her best life. And she's just really crushing it out in the world today. And she decided to put pen to paper to publish this wonderful book called Life Master, which is really only the beginning because it's something that comes from what she's actually living, folks. So that's right. You're getting the real deal Holyfield today, folks, because she is someone who's truly living her message. So let's give it up for the one, the only, Sherry Stirling Fernandez. How you doing today, Cheryl?
I'm good, Dom. How are you?
Doing good. That's right. Good with all the O's. That's right. And probably all the T's. Oh my goodness. Well, as you know, with all introductions, you know they're not allowed to be 75 days long. So mind filling in any cavities I missed about you, Sherry?
You kind of covered it pretty good. I just, wrote the book, lived the life, and then decided to write the book that teaches the principles I've been learning and teaching all my life.
There you go. That's right. All the principles, indeed. Well, maybe not all of them. I'm pretty sure there's like tons more that's probably hidden somewhere in book 2, if there's going to be a book 2, I imagine, right?
Well, people keep asking me that. I pretty much packed that book pretty full of everything I know, but I'm still learning things, so who knows?
There we go. Indeed. So my goodness. Well, there's like so many things that like impress me about you, my goodness, because like currently in your 60s, you did a bodybuilding competition last year. Like, how much courage that takes? Like that's probably at least a good
A lot.
You had to like IV yourself to courage for that one, right?
I did. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It took a lot of courage to get up there. I wasn't really, I looked good, really good, but I wasn't like bodybuilding, and I was almost 10 years older than anybody else. And I don't know, and you're practically naked, right? So it was scary. I didn't know what I was doing. That was the main thing. That was the main thing that was scary. Is I'd never done it before. So it was all new for me. And I can be on a stage in front of 2,000 or 3,000 people and speak, no problem. But getting up there in that almost nothing outfit and posing and doing those things, it was scary. I was glad when it was over. I might do one more. I'm thinking about doing one more. Just I think I could do a little bit better, and then I'm done with that.
Oh yeah, that's right, indeed. That's right. You're already keeping yourself fit, and the thing about bodybuilding, showmanship is required. In this case, showwomanship is required. So you'll get it, and you'll probably place even higher.
Yeah. Well, my category had 5 people in it. I got 5th, like a little statue. They gave top 5, and I got 5th. So it's that was fine. I didn't expect to get first, so that was good. I didn't do it for the trophy though, right? You do it because it's a challenge. It's had a goal.
There we go, indeed. And funny enough, you actually had a lot of challenges growing up, because if I'm not mistaken, like your parents actually divorced when you were 7 years old, right?
Yeah, they divorced when I was 7, and there was 4 of us little girls. I was the oldest. And my mom, neither of my parents would have been equipped to raise us by themselves, but my mom wasn't. 1962, and women were not getting divorced in the little town we were in. So there was a challenge, and she didn't, of course, not much money and that kind of stuff. And she married the traditional, not stepfather, kind of man that marries a woman with 4 girls, right? So that kind of stuff. And then my parents got back together and divorced again, and it just went on from there. But we had a few years of stability when I was a teenager, but there were some pretty volatile years also. And I was kind of wandered a lot in those days. 7, 8, 9 years old, just sort of wandered around town, trying to figure out what life was about.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right indeed. And like with all of those challenges, it seems like they were just coming at you one after the other every few years, it seems, right?
Mhm. Yeah, there was a lot, when you look back and you like on paper, when I tell people like, oh, wow, that was a crazy childhood. When you're young adult, boy, you did some, that was kind of crazy things you lived through. But I never did, not at the time, and I never in my life have thought of it as adversity. It was just what happened. And I was never, had no angst about it. I never was like, oh, my childhood was terrible. It was just what it was. And it was just fine. It suited me. I was happy in spite of it. I learned some things. I mean, I'm not saying everything was great. Obviously, there's some bad things happen, but it didn't throw me off the rails exactly. I mean, my late teens were kind of crazy, but that was just a choice. It wasn't because I was damaged. It was just crazy growing up and just the way life was. And no regrets. I have no regrets about the way I was raised or my life, my childhood or my young adulthood or my teenage years. None of those. I don't have any regrets. I helped me be who I am. If you like who you are, you have to like everything that happened to you that got you there, right? And I like who I am. And I think all those things made me.
Oh yeah, that's right. They made you. That's right. Made you into a warrior. That's right, a warrior queen. That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's right indeed. Because like you actually found personal
Sounds
development.
like something my husband would say. Yeah, what happened there was when I hit 25, I was about 23 or 24, 25. I say, man, I want some stuff. And now I'm dirt poor because I didn't get an education, a college education. And we got married and 2 little girls all of a sudden. And I got married, but I not planned to get married, but I did get married. I wanted the best, if I was going to do it, I wanted the best marriage ever. And I didn't want to live poor all my life. I wanted to have a healthy income that I could do what I wanted and have what I wanted. I wanted a lot of stuff, but I wanted to have to struggle with money ever again. So I just went after some of the things I wanted. I started reading the things that I thought would help me get what I wanted, trying to find the principles. I thought it was possible to have everything, and was, because I do. I think all the areas of life that are important, all 8 that I teach, I've had really good success. Still growing, still learning in all those 8 areas, but I'm physically very fit. I have a rockin' sexy marriage, even at 60, the ripe old age of 65, especially at this age. My finances are great. I'm self-educated, and people look to me for wisdom and for advice. I do coaching, still. I don't need the money, but I do it to make sure that I'm contributing, and character, all those things I'm still working on, but I found success in all of them. And I feel like if you're going to be a person that teaches other people how to do those things, you should live them first. And I feel strongly about that. You should probably live a little and have some success before you start telling other people how to live.
Oh yeah, you could definitely say that again. Like yes indeed, yes indeed. And it's good that you actually truly live and believe that because a lot of folks, like you said, they really just want to try to do the whole quick maybe weekend seminar thing if or maybe read one book and then try to go out there and teach something when they haven't even embodied any of it, if anything.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know what they have to offer. I've asked myself that question. What do they have to offer? I say in the book, in theory, there's no difference between theory and practice, but in practice there is. If you haven't lived well yourself, then who are you to be telling somebody else? So I find people who can't even make a living, they think, well, maybe the answer is I'll go out and be a life coach. I was like, how does that make any sense? You can't even feed yourself. And then you think that the easy way is to tell other people how to live. And I come across that so often, or a young person trying to figure out their way in life. They're 23 or 24. I think I'll be a life coach. Like, okay, why don't you go live a little bit first and come back and try it again? So I'm not trying to make fun. I mean, criticize. People are just trying to make a difference. And that's a marvelous thing in this day and age. Lots of people are trying to make a difference, but it doesn't help if you're not on higher ground than the people you're trying to help. You've got to be on higher ground.
Oh yeah, you definitely say that again because you're definitely right. Like heck, even funny enough, I think it was like scrolling a bit through Facebook, and there was like this post about folks being tired of young fitness gurus in their 20s, and they're like, "Hey, come back when you're in your 30s."
Yeah, yeah. Welcome to my world. Yeah, because fitness is something that I've done. You know, I've had a fitness business for 10 years, but I'd be at the gym for years. You know, I'd go to the gym and I'd see these trainers, and they're like 18. They did sports in high school, and it's their way to maybe keep that part of their lives. So I don't know what just like with life coaching, how much can you know it when you already got an 18-year-old body that rocks? Try some bad knees or 50 pounds overweight or other kinds of health issues or just age or hormones and all the things that happen to you. It's not so easy then. I was 50 when I started my business, so I had I'd had weight issues off and on, not extreme, but up and down. And so I had to learn the answers myself. So when I got to fitness, I knew what I was talking about. I'd lived it.
Woohoo!
We have a saying around our house. It's just kind of a metaphor: never hire a fat trainer, or a broke, or a broke financial consultant, or just you want to hire people that are on higher ground than you are. But mentoring and coaching is awesome. Everybody should find somebody once in a while. The very most successful people in the world get a coach once in a while, a mentor once in a while. Everyone should do that. They may be hard to find one who's got a lot to offer you, but they're out there. I hope everybody looks for a mentor or a coach. You can call me. I don't do a lot of people, but I still do it. So maybe I'll have an opening. We're training some people too. We're training, I've had people who've worked with me for like 10 years. And I've been doing this program, the program that I teach in Life Mastery, for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And so they're really good. They understand the principles. They've lived it. They're successful. We've recruited them and are training them so that we can meet the demand that we're having for people who would like a coach or a mentor in the principles I teach in Life Mastery. So that'll be awesome. So if you really, in all seriousness, if you're looking for a qualified mentor, nobody's going to teach in my program that hasn't lived it.
Woohoo! And that's a satisfaction guarantee, y'all. I'm telling you.
Satisfaction guarantee. Money back if you don't like what we teach. If this doesn't work for you, you try it and you do the work and it doesn't work for you. I've always offered people's money back, and nobody's ever taken it because they found great success in these principles because they work. They're truth. They're simple. They're real. There's something you can wrap your head around. They work. They work for everybody. If you work them, you have to do the work, of course. That's not like magic. You still have to do the work. But if you apply these principles, they work. It does help to have a mentor, though, to maybe help you sort it out a little bit, to train you a little bit on it. I think a person can read the book and satisfactorily work it. But if you had a mentor or coach to help you, it can make a lot of difference. In fact, I hope somebody can get the book. It's the intention of the book that you could just read this book and it can get you where you want to go. That was my intention always. It wasn't to build a program out of it. I know that's done a lot. That's not what I did. I wanted to write the book that I wanted when I was 25. And I wanted people to be able to take that book and use it and apply it and change their lives. That was always my intention. The fact that people could use some help was sort of an afterthought.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about indeed. That's what I'm talking about indeed. That's right. And speaking of living, funny enough, there was 2 questions I had because I went through like the first 50 pages of your book, and I got through the part where you mentioned that you can only doggy paddle at the age of 9, but it seems like you actually upped your game and you're able to swim the Dead Sea. So how was that experience?
Well, you don't have to swim to do in the Dead Sea. You float, right on top because there's all the salt in it. But, I'm an avid scuba diver and I'm still a lousy swimmer. But yeah, I would just walk to the pool. I was 9 years old and walked to this pool. I had to high dive in those days. They were really high. You did that, weren't so worried about lawsuits, I guess. And I would jump off and paddle to the edge of the pool. And metaphorically, I've done that all my life. Jumped off the high dive, figured it'd work out, and I'd get myself to the edge. And so far, so good. So I have this feeling about life, and I think I'll share that because I think it's a lot of the basis of my personality and the reason that I went after these things and now are able to teach them is we only have one life, and I felt this since I was a child. I want every day to be just the very best it can be. I know it'll have problems, but still, I want to just touch and feel and see and live and have and do, and I want every day to be as beautiful as it can be. You still have ups and downs, of course, but that's what I wanted out of life. I didn't want to have any regrets. That's why I did the bodybuilding competition. I didn't want to have any regrets. And I don't really. If you don't regret the things you do, you regret the things you don't do. Within reason. There's some things you should. I mean, obviously, there could be some things you would regret. But as a rule, we don't have regrets for what we didn't accomplish. We have regrets, or for things that we tried. We have regrets for not that we didn't try. To try to make our dreams come true. And every day, life is so short, especially when you get to be my age, all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what happened the last 20 years? I talk like an old person, right? When people start saying things like that, but it's true. Life is so short.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And if I'm not mistaken, to help out with that, you actually made a list of 100 big things, but it expanded to 144 things you want to accomplish before, you go to the next life.
Yeah, it's a big dreams list. I always have my clients and people reading the book, I suggested, start with a big dreams list. It may not be the most important things you do, but it gets you thinking and gets you excited about life. So I've been working down that list. I've done some really exciting things. I have on my list as a side note that I'm going to visit the Galapagos Islands. And I was starting to think that would not be possible because it's difficult. You have to get permits and stuff. I had an opportunity. So in February, I'm going to go to the Galapagos Islands. I've been to Antarctica. I've been to Jerusalem. I've been to all kinds of exciting, I hiked around Mont Blanc. I did the Tour Mont Blanc. Lots of things that I've accomplished, the bodybuilding competition, professional sports games. I didn't like sports, but I want to go to all of them at least once. So just a lot of things that I wanted to do before I die. It kind of keeps life interesting. I hope everybody will go home or they are probably already home and start a big dreams list, things you want to do before you die, things you want to learn, things you want to be, things you want to do.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. That's right, Antarctica. So you came back alive from Antarctica. So how did you survive without turning into a literal icicle?
Well, the truth is, I went to Antarctica, and this is the only way you can go unless you're on a super National Geographic expedition. Is you can just go into you can just be on a boat and go in, big boat, and go in through the channels and around the little islands and stuff, and you kind of see it from the boat, really. So I didn't actually set foot on the continent. That's another whole complicated way to do that. I might try it again. My last continent visit was Australia, and that's when I was in Australia. I just got there when COVID broke out. They quarantined us and then sent us home. So I didn't get to see very much of Australia. Yeah, travel. But it's not just travel. There's so many. The bodybuilding competition, for example, was on there, and things I wanted to do with my grandchildren, and things I wanted to learn. I wanted to memorize 100 pieces of scripture or poetry, and I did that. And I've got a goal to read all my I collect leather-bound classics, and I've got about 100 of them, and I have only read maybe half. So I have a goal to read the other half. So all kinds of goals you can put on that big dreams list. That's not your main goal setting. That's just a fun thing to keep life interesting.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about, indeed. And for this big dreams list, I've noticed that it wasn't a static list. Did it start at 100 and you just kept adding every so often, or?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, good question. That's a really good question, Tom. I was asking that question. That's a really good question because I have clients who come in and I require them to do this big dreams list because I want to get them excited, get the juices flowing for the goals we're going to set. I want to get them thinking, get the juices flowing, but so many people struggle with this. I ask them to do 50, and they rarely can do it in the first couple of months at least. but it gets them thinking. But what happens is you do one thing and you're like, oh, I want to do that too. Funny example is I actually put on the list yet, but I wanted to ride an elephant in its native environment, like actually ride it as transportation. So we did that in 2007. And so we're getting on the elephant. These two ladies had been there. They just gone for a little ride, a little short ride around the compound or something. And Ken said, well, how was it? These little two little old ladies. And they said that was almost as good as hot air balloons over the pyramids. I was like, oh, hot air balloons over the pyramids. I got to write that down. So, you do one thing. We hike them up long. Now I want to go hike. There's a walk down the coast of Portugal I want to do. There's one in Turkey. My sister's in England doing one. It looks awesome. So I think I want to go do that one. So now I want to do more of those walks. So that's how that works. That big dreams list. I've added things since the book came out. The big dream list grows as you think of things, or you check something off and it gives you an idea for something else.
Sweet, beautiful. So you heard that right, folks. You can start with 50 if you haven't expanded your
Yeah.
mind yet, and then it'll get to 100, and then out of nowhere, it's like, hey, hey, I think I have 160 now.
Look up John. I talk about him in the book, but John, if you buy my book, look up John Goddard, who wrote a list when he was a teenager, and he'd heard the adults in his world talking about all the things they'd missed, and he said, I didn't want to do that. So he became a world-renowned explorer, was still a family man. One of his goals was to walk on the moon. He didn't get to do that when he died a while back. To keep his weight the same his whole life, which he did. He had a lot of interesting things that he accomplished, hundreds of them actually, if you read the whole story. He accomplished 100 things starting when he was 14. If we had started when we were 14, Don, look at all the things we would have accomplished at this point.
Oh, wow. So that's right, folks. The younger you are, the bigger advantage you have. You have the world by the jugular. Take advantage.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, some of the things that we do there is the big dreams list, and then having a mission statement. These are things that give you a why to work on yourself. The thing is this: everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. And thinkers and religionists and philosophers and everybody's discussed this since the beginning of time, and they pretty much all agree that our purpose here is to be happy. The question is, how do we be happy? Well, when I tell people, well, personal progression is the key to happiness, oh, they're not so sure. But if I say, when you're stagnant, you're not happy. Oh, yeah. Or backsliding in life, that's even worse, right? That is unhappy. So the flip side is true. When we're progressing, we're happy. So goal setting, I'm not talking just big dreams, and sometimes the whole goal setting picture. Goal setting and working on things, working ourselves, just little incremental growth every day. That's how we make our dreams come true. It's not just about the dreams coming true. We're happy when we're moving forward. Everybody has this infinite potential, huge potential. And when we move towards it, we'll never see it in this life. But as we move towards that potential, that's where happiness comes from. And you don't have to move very far. Just start down the path. A lot of anxiety and depression comes when people are stuck. They feel stuck. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. I don't like my job. I know I want to do something. I know I'm designed for better things. I don't know whether I should do this. I should do that. That's when people are unhappy. So a goal setting program that works with systems, that's what my book offers that most people don't talk about, is systems to implement those goals so they happen. A coach or mentor, if you need one, accountability partner, if you need one, to help make sure you do those things. That's happiness and makes life joyful and worth living and gets us excited about the possibilities. I'd suggest, if you're somebody listening to this, if you're not happy, if you feel stuck, go do something hard. Just tomorrow, just go out and do some hard thing, hike up a hard hill, or ride your bike up a hard hill, or go do something really nice for somebody, or make that phone call you've been dreading, or make extra sales calls, whatever, something hard, and then see how you feel about it afterwards. And I guarantee you'll be happier. You'll feel happier, and that's just the beginning. Just do that every day.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'm so glad that's the definition of happiness, indeed, because you're so right. Like, we do have infinite potential here, because the thing is, like, hey, if you're alive, you still have a chance. And then if you start with those small goals, and then you have that big dream 100 list, and it expands as you expand your mind and your experience, then there's no telling what you can do if you stick to really just trying to make things happen and making sure that you're in a mode of progress as opposed to stagnation. Because you're right, when things are stagnant, it feels like a game over situation.
It does. It feels just like it puts you in despair. Like I'm in despair because I don't know what to do, where to go. One of the things that makes Life Mastery unique is that, and what I always longed for, I would go to a lot of seminars and I'd listen to a lot of motivation speakers, and I do a lot of audio programs and just different things because I was trying to find the answers. Right, I would always leave motivated, and sometimes I'd have a few ideas on what I might do, but what I always would lack, and I always think to myself, well, tell me how. I will do whatever. I mean, I'm up for it. I'm game for anything. Just tell me how to do this, how to start. How can I do this and make sure it happens? And so I found that little bits of ideas I got here and there and put them together. And that's when things started happening for me. First thing I teach my clients right after their big dreams list is how to do a tracking sheet. Simple little chart that I provide for free on my website if you'd like one, at lifemasteryinfo.com. You write your daily things you want to do down this left side, the days of the month across the top, and you just check them off. Exercise, get out of bed on time, drink more water, make 10 sales calls, whatever things that you want to habits you want to develop or things you want to do daily, you put them on that list. Now that's a system. People make like New Year's resolutions and then they fail and they're like, oh, well, I'm weak. I just couldn't. Well, you couldn't stay focused because you have a system. If you have your tracking sheet and every day you have the habit of looking at your tracking sheet, all the other habits will happen. Oh, that's right. I was going to do this. I was going to work out. I forgot. Okay, I got to get my workout in. Or, yeah, I was going to drink that much water, but I haven't been doing it. I was going to call my mother once a week and I haven't been doing it. And there it is on my tracking sheet. I'm looking at it every day. And so if you can develop the habit of having a tracking sheet, you can accomplish anything else. The habits. And it's all about those habits, those daily habits.
Woohoo! That's right. She's preaching, y'all. She's
Yeah.
preaching, y'all.
That's only one of 3 systems that I have in there. So that's a system on things you want to do. It doesn't feel like there's a straight line between my huge success in the business world or whatever and me working out every day. And yet instinctively, we know there is a connection, right? If I work out every day, it's going to actually help me be more successful in business or in my relationships. So we start with some fundamental things, taking care of ourselves, taking care of our mind, our body, our soul. We start with some fundamental things and we start building habits on top of that. And that's what leads people to success in life and success making their goals. And it's fun. It's exciting when you start seeing yourself making a difference in yourself. People ask me sometimes on a lot of my interviews, they'll say, well, what do we do with all the problems in the world? How can we make a difference in the world? How can we make a difference at home? The way you make a difference anywhere is you work on you. You want a better world? Start with yourself. Do everything you can to be the best person you can be, and you'll make a difference in the world.
Amen to that. Amen to that. It's so darn true because folks always want to try to point the finger sometimes and be like, hey, the world's going crazy. It's going to start raining bad. It's so bad. Oh, we're about to get flooded. Oh. But hey, it's like, hey, if you at least try to improve yourself first and focus on your own square, then things will be a little bit better for you.
Things will be okay. And for everybody, because then people will see you'll be inspired by what you do and they'll seek out your help and you'll be in a position. If I'm in a financial position, I can go out and make a difference here and there in the world. If I'm educated, I can make a difference here and there. If I don't have anything to offer, I can't really make a difference. But you kind of made a joke about it. But truly, people think they point the finger. They want social justice or change or this or that. Everybody do this, everybody do that. But it's easier to do that, to stomp your foot and demand, than to actually go to work on yourself. It's like deflecting, right? I want the world to change, but I'm not willing even to change myself. So it's not a realistic request for the world if you don't even change yourself. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me because the earth is so darn huge. Like, hey, that's a lot of work. You're going to need a bunch of six-pack. You're going to need a lot of six-pack ab folks to take care of that. And it's still going to need a lot more than that, too.
Yeah, it's really in the long run, there's not much you can do to impact the whole world. You impact your immediate world. And you do that mostly by example, right?
Oh, yeah. can say that again, indeed. And speaking of by example, I believe as part of your book too, I forgot which part it was, where actually like the recession actually hit you and your husband's business pretty bad, and then you
Mhm.
actually decided to help out your husband with his business as well. And you actually, if I'm not mistaken, did you start the fitness business too along
No,
with that?
no. Yeah, I didn't actually help him with this business in a literal sense. We had a big home. We sold that and used the money to keep the business afloat. Our last child had just left, had just graduated from high school, so we didn't need it anymore anyway. So in the sense that I supported all those decisions, we dialed back our lifestyle, and he'd been partially retired, and he went back to work full time. Well, now I have no children at home, no garden, no house, none of the things I've been doing. Some of the other projects I've been working on had come to an end, the recession. And so I was all of a sudden, I was like, okay, well, and we had planned to travel. We planned to actually ride our bikes across the United States that year. And of course, we didn't because we had to put the business back together. We had no money anyway. So I thought I have a mission statement, like I suggest everybody have, like I teach you to do in the book. I had a mission statement, which is my mission statement is I use all my knowledge, wisdom, and personal power to inspire others to live with purpose and passion and faith. Well, I have to go do something then. I can't just have this mission statement, sit around the house and read books or go on long bike rides, which I would be happy to do. So I started Fitmania, and I'd been coaching and teaching. I was still doing that actually at the time, mostly teaching from like workshops and speaking engagements and stuff, mostly that kind of thing. And I'm still doing that. But I thought I need my own platform. I need to increase my platform and have a place where I can teach what I know about fitness and what I know about personal development all under one roof. And so I started Fitmania, and we did that for 9 years and made a big difference in the world. We made a big difference in people's lives by teaching them principles and giving them the support, taught them the things that, and without that business, I wouldn't have so many stories to tell in my book. So I have so many stories from that business that to express the principles, and I learned a lot there. But anyway, yeah, that's what happened there. I went to, I built the business. Our construction business, supply business, turned around quite quickly and ended up supporting the fitness business because there's not very good money in fitness. But we did make a big difference. It was not very financially, but interesting story behind that. I've never told this before publicly, but I was losing money at Fitmania, but we felt like we should hang on and keep doing it because we were really affecting changes, and we had a great following, and people were just clinging to us for like a lifeboat, right? We started making money, and we were making money exceeding what we had made previously at the same amount that we were losing money in my business, if that makes sense. So it was like the universe balanced it out. We were doing great work over here. You don't make a big difference in people's lives selling concrete construction supplies, but we're making good money there. So it balanced out somehow. It was like I don't know, little miracle that kept us afloat during that recession and just post-recession. Great lessons there.
You can say that again. That's the power of life mastery, y'all. When you try to live the best life you can, you got so many stories to share with others to help them move on as a result. So thanks for sharing that piece. Is there a question that you wish you'd be asked more often when you're on the guest side of the game on these podcasts, Sherry?
Well, a lot of people ask me why I wrote a book, if I always wanted to write a book. And so I'll answer that one because I think that's, I hope it'll make you want to buy the book more. But I've been, like I said, I've been speaking and teaching publicly and for several decades, 2, 3, I don't know, long time. And people would say, you should write a book after they'd hear me speak. And I'd say, no, I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker. I'm not a writer. If I can't do it with my brain and my mouth, I have no other talents, Another thing that happened with the business though, and I thought that clear up until the time I decided to write a book. What I had forgotten is while I was at Fitmania, I started a blog, and I had things I wanted to teach. It didn't because I wanted to have a blog. I had things I wanted to teach my clients, and there was hundreds of them, so I couldn't teach them all one-on-one, plus other people that would read it. So I started a blog. So I started writing for like those 8 or 9 years I was there. I kept this blog going. So I did get some practice in writing. So I did become a pretty adept at writing. I didn't even think about it after the book was published. I was like, oh, I did have some skills. But I never was going to write the book. I never was going to write a book. I never intended to. In 2019, early, I did a workshop, and then we had COVID. And I tried a workshop on Zoom, which I didn't really love. I liked the one that in person. I would do it again, but I didn't really love it. I thought about that time, I had a couple of people that attended these workshops tell me you should write a book. And for the first time, I let that in. And I mentioned to my husband, he said, yeah, you should write a book, Sherry. And I had a coach at the same time. He said the same thing, no, Sherry, you should write a book. My coach always says, Sherry, you're the real deal. You should write a book. So I just did, and it flowed out of me. I said I wrote the book in not even a very intense 7 months, but like my husband always said, it took me 40 years to write that book because I've been gathering the information, teaching it, refining the principles for 40 years. So the book came actually really quite easily. When I got it in the mail, I thought, oh, this isn't going to be good. I don't want to read it. But then I finally did. And I was like, oh, it's good. So I know you have some guests. I listened to some of the podcasts, and I know you have some guests that really have talent they're really writers. I wrote well enough that I got my information across, but I'm somebody who had something to say and was able to write well enough to say it. But I wouldn't categorize myself as a writer, as some of your other guests are, really writers, sincere and devoted to literature. That wouldn't be me. I just had something to say. So anyway, wrote the book, took 7 months. And the interesting thing about that was every time I hit a snag, like I didn't know how to go about writing a book or how to get it published. I thought, well, I'll start writing it and see what happens. Well, just about the time I need to figure out how I'm going to get it published, I get introduced to the right person. About the time I needed to get a new website set up, the right person comes. It's the whole process of the book. Every time I hit a stumbling block, like I don't know what to do from here, somebody would just show up. It was the craziest thing. Right up till just recently, I'm getting ready to do the audiobook, and I think, okay, I need to do an audiobook. And I couldn't really get a handle on who might do it locally. Couldn't make a decision. Then Sky, just kind of, I got introduced to this guy, and it was just the right guy. And now I'm set to start the audiobook next week. So the whole process has been blessed from beginning to end. I think mostly it came through me. People say that came through me, not from me, but I was so blessed. And so the experience has been marvelous. I'm not probably write another book. I really don't think I think everything I know is in there. I'd have to live another 40 years to come up with enough information to fill another book. But who knows? Never say never, right? Who knows?
Oh yeah, that's right. Especially since if I'm not mistaken, are you working on an audiobook for this too, right?
Yeah, starting on Thursday, we'll start the audiobook this next Thursday, start recording. I'm going to do it in my deep, scratchy voice. I'm going to read it myself because I think that's how it should be done, but it'll be interesting. I've never done anything like that before. And I do have I think maybe a unique voice, a little deep, and I hope that I won't be irritating. I hope some people can listen to it all right for a few hours because I like to think it's deep and sultry, sexy, but it kind of sounds like a smoker's voice or something. I don't know why. I always had that deep voice since I was a little girl, this deep voice. So we'll have to live with it.
And one of the reasons why you probably got scooped up so quickly with 6 grown kids now and 21 grandkids.
Yes. Yeah, those kids, no, they were, I didn't want any children, Dom. I said to everybody I knew as I was growing up, even up to my adult years, I said, I'm never having children or get married. I got married and had 6 kids. Well, I had 1 child, got married and had 5 more. Yeah, crazy. Who would have thought? I see people from my high school and they're like, I cannot believe you did that. I can't believe it either. I look around the table at dinner and I think, where'd y'all come from? And I'd look at each one. I remember having you, and I remember having you. And I'd go through each one. I would sincerely wonder where in the heck they all came from. It's like, yeah, I remember having y'all. I guess you're all so. But I just amazed myself. Like, I don't think he was more amazed than I was when I did that. And I think back and think, how in the world? But we're family people. We love the kids, each other. I mean, we really are. We're very successful in business and a lot of enterprises we've been successful in. But at the end of the day, it's each other and our kids, our family, our grandkids. We're family people.
Woohoo! That's what I'm talking about. So be on the lookout for that audiobook too with Sherry doing it herself. Y'all, it's going to be fun on the bunch. She's got multiple podcast interviews out there, so she's probably already got enough hours to equate to what the audiobook's going to be, so you get to take her on the road even more, y'all. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is my 32nd interview, and the book just hit the bestseller list in the middle of July. So I've done 30 interviews August since maybe the end of July I started, very end of July. So in less than 2 months, I've done 30 some interviews, quite a few. It's been fun. I've made some good friends. I like the hosts. You guys, I just say, Tom, something about you guys who host these. It's awesome. I just feel this sense of, again, people trying to make a difference in the world. You guys have, every host has been so unique and has had their own message. But I sense that they're trying to do something out there. And I really honor that. I honor what you do. I love the kind of guests you've had on your show. And all of my hosts have been just hugely fabulous people. I just liked every one of them.
Woohoo!
So good job.
Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, thanks
Yes,
for being
folks,
here. I'd have no interviews if you guys didn't exist. So thank you for being here.
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, folks like you keep this show in business. So, hey, it's all good. It's circular. It's circular indeed, like a giant circle.
So it totally is. Yeah, very synergistic kind of thing. People eating up these podcasts like crazy. Everywhere I go, somebody's talking about some podcast they listen to, or some show they listen to, or somebody they follow for enlightenment. So they're getting out there. It makes a difference.
Well, I'm so glad you said eating podcast, because that leads to a special question that you haven't even heard yet. So, if your book was a particular food item, what would it be and why?
Particular food item, huh? Probably chocolate. That's my answer to everything. Dark chocolate, because that light chocolate's got too much sugar in it. But no, dark chocolate would be definitely dark chocolate, very dark chocolate. Say 85% cocoa, something like that. Cacao, as I say. So about that darker chocolate, that's what my book would be.
You're actually the first one to say chocolate, which I'm very surprised at.
You haven't asked enough women, that's why. I would thought all the women would say chocolate. What would yours be?
Wow, that's a darn good question. I haven't even thought of that one. So my second book, Stay the Course. That one, I'd have to say that would be, I think I'd call it a protein bar, I have to say.
That's a good one. I like it. If anybody has ever asked me that question again, which I'm pretty sure they won't, I'll have to say protein bar. I like it. Chocolate protein bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody wants to ask me that question, Tom. I think that's a pretty much an original. Somebody did ask me what spirit animal I would be. And he did give me a suggestion he told me what his was, so I know kind of where he was going with it. But that was actually easier. I said lion. I've used a lion as my kind of mascot. Before I rebranded for Life Mastery, I always used a lion on the front of my workbooks and on my different things that I use, branding items, I put a lion on it, so lion. But yeah, now chocolate book, and I'm a lion spirit animal. As a chocolate protein book.
So you heard that right, folks. You heard it from the warrior queen lioness herself, with all the dark chocolate in her kingdom, the dark chocolate protein bars. Give you the energy and the protein you need. Get that 8-pack abs that you want in your life, because she's got 8 powerful areas that you could go into that you're gonna need for life mastery. Y'all, I love it.
I hope everybody will buy the book. Just go out and buy my book, because it really is a good book. And I would actually say that if I didn't have the feedbacks, everybody thinks the book's great. Actually, I didn't know if one was great. I had to get some feedback, but I'm getting such good feedback from it. I'm having people say, "Oh, this book has changed my life. This book is so good." And I'm not saying I'm the best writer in the world. I know I'm not, but the information is really good, and I think it's readable. People tell me it's readable. They like the stories and the things that I tell and the quotes I use. And so, my Life Mastery. You can get on Amazon, Life Mastery, Personal Progression Towards Infinite Potential by Stirling Fernandez. And you can also get on our website if you want a signed copy. We'll sell you a signed copy, a hardback, on the website, lifemasteryinfo.com. And there's some downloads, personal assessment, a recommended reading list, and there is tracking sheets free to you if you want to go to the website, free downloads. So those are all available just to help you. And I've given away those tracking sheets for years because I believe in them. I've been doing tracking of some sort since I was for 40 years. I'm going to be 66 next month. And I started when I was about 24-ish. So I've been doing tracking. It just makes all the difference. So that's why I give those away freely. I hope everybody will just take me up on nothing else. If you don't even buy the book, download the tracking sheets. lifemasterinfo.com.
Well, we got an October baby in the podcast house, baby. Happy early birthday.
Yeah, buy one for all your friends. A book.
There we go. October baby indeed.
Yeah, October baby. Yeah, give me a birthday present and, buy lots of books. No, but seriously, don't buy one unless you want one. I'm just kidding. I mean, obviously, you're not going to buy one if you don't want one, but do download the tracking sheets. And then also, if you're interested in mentoring, contact us. We're still getting that website kind of polished up. So if you don't find what you're looking for there, email me. I'll point you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's right. You're pointing in the right direction, and it all leads to north. So we're coming down to the magical question that every guest gets to receive, and that is, if you're to wake up tomorrow and you're 25 again, but this time you're in 2021 with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Read that book and do the things I said. I would just be so grateful if I had this at 25. So if I could start at 25, knowing what I know now, man, I would conquer the world. There'd be no stopping me. I would just say, keep working the program, Sherry. You know the program, just keep working and see what else you can do. My big dreams list will be like 1,000 items, and I might rule the world. I don't know. I'm just joking. I don't know, but I would certainly be able to accomplish a lot knowing what I know now at 25. So if you're 25, buy that book and start doing that stuff.
That's right. And she'd win like freaking 10 straight bodybuilding competitions in a row. She would be Cleopatra.
Yeah, that's it. I would start those bodybuilding competitions a little sooner instead of waiting until I was 66 to get on stage, 65 to get on stage. I'd start earlier when I, still had that youthful body. I can still do 20 push-ups on my toes without stopping though. Nice military, good form push-ups. I'm going to do those till I die.
There you go. Put them 20-year-olds to shame. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No
Actually,
pun intended.
Yeah. Ken sent me up in a competition with one of our local football players at BSU football college, betting that he could do. He said, because I was as old as I was, not because I was a woman, because as old as I was, he was going to give me 2 push-ups for every one of mine. And he had to make the money that he was going to give him for a donation to the charity. He said, if you can buy, I'll donate to your charity. And we let him off pretty easy. His push-ups were lousy. They weren't as good as mine, but we let him off. He had to protect his ego. He was in front of his friends and stuff. But I could have beat him at 2-1. I could have beat him.
I'm telling you, folks like you are role models for me, because I'm like, yeah, when I get in my 60s and 70s, want to be one of them fit seasoned people that's like, yeah, underestimate the old guy if you want. We still got one arse kicking left to give. We're ready to give it to whenever. Folks ready to grab that ticket.
Well, Dom, you do those push-ups every day, so when it's time, you're ready to show them what's for. Get down on the floor every once in a while, do those push-ups. Keep doing them. So I figure if I do them every other day. If I do them every other day, I don't see a day when I just going to wake up one morning and can't do them. So I do them every other day. Wows the kids, like, just do it for teenagers and stuff in my high heels or whatever. I've done it on stage a number of times. I used to get to 50, but it's hard. So I just don't try that hard anymore. But 20, I think 20 is good for.
Heck yeah, that's right. Especially military push-ups. Perfect form.
Perfect form. I'm on form Nazi, so my form is good.
Oh yeah, that's right. She's a moving Greek statue, y'all. That's right.
Other than my husband, I don't think anybody's going to buy that. But too many wrinkles for starters.
Well, you're pitched on the back of the book, so a lot of people are going to buy it. And for those who want to buy it, what's the best place to get for folks to buy it?
Amazon, there's an ebook on Amazon, but don't buy the ebook, buy the paperback or the hardback, because I keep hearing this feedback about the ebook. It's $10. It's only a few dollars more to buy the paperback. So that's just a recommendation. a lot of people end up buying the paperback anyway. So just save yourself the first $10. Not that it hurts my feelings. I make more money, but just buy the paperback or the hardback. That's on Amazon. You can also buy an autographed copy hardback on the website, lifemasteryinfo.com. So those are the ways you can buy it. But it's not on Amazon. It doesn't even really exist, does it? So definitely on Amazon.
Who would have thought 20 years ago? It's like, Amazon.com, yeah, that's the place for books. Oh, now it's the place for everything. Crap.
Yes, I know. Now you have to scroll through all that stuff to find the book list.
Exactly. Well, there you have it, folks. Buy a hard copy of this book indeed, so that way it sticks in your mind a lot quicker indeed, and a lot harder, wow, tongue-tied, and a lot longer indeed. That's right, folks. Pick it up, share it with your friends, your family, share it with the penguin, share it with the cat, share it with a pine cone. Take a selfie with the book next to a pine cone. It'll be a pine coneception, y'all. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. And then shoot it to Sherry so she can get a quick giggle out of it. And
yeah, really, truly do that. I would love that. And I'm on Facebook, and we have an Instagram account. Somebody runs that for me. That's full disclosure right there. I don't do Instagram myself personally, but somebody's running that for me. But share it on Instagram. I'll see it. He'll show it to me. Chad will show it to me. Or I do my own Facebook. So send me your picture on Facebook with the book, or just send me a picture on Facebook. I'd love to hear who's listening, see who's listening to the show. That would be fun.
Woohoo! Well, any parting words for folks before we close up shop?
You got this one life. Get out there and just get the very best out of life by being the very best you can be. Just that's the road to happiness. And I hope you all just get out there and just have a rockin' life. Life is just awesome. Some people say it's hard, but she's got to say, well, compared to what? We don't know anything else. Maybe it's easy. Let's just think of it as easy and go out there and make good things happen. Make your dreams come true. Everything's possible. Anything's possible. The earth is full and despair. Anything's possible. So get out there and do it. Make it happen.
How's it going, my friend? I'm so glad you made it to the end. That shows that you are an uncommon finisher, and I am so grateful for you sharing your ears, your attention, and your time to this wonderful podcast. To do something that'll take yourself to the next level, and for everybody else involved in this wonderful program, share it with at least 3 people in your network, so that way more folks can be inspired to be their best.